Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth with Eden and Kim, shifting you into higher consciousness, the show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, special interviews with inspiring guests, intuitive readings, channeled messages from beyond, including celebrities, hot topics to expand your awareness, and time for questions from the audience. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magical moments.
Guest host today, Buddy Sampson.
Yes.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
You would think we would have nothing else to talk about, but we will definitely have lots of questions for you.
Yes. Lots more. We go deeper and deeper, right?
Yeah, this time it might be a little deep.
Okay.
A little deeper. First of all, we want to ask about Tim Reid. I mean, Tim Reid is also an icon of TV, and you've been married to him for many years now. What's Tim Reid doing? And describe what it's been like to be with Mr. Reid.
It depends on what day it is. We're just human beings. We have our days.
Yeah.
It's been a joy. It's been an honor because he's the most creative person I've ever met. And his head comes off the pillow and he says, I got an idea. I'm going, oh boy, here we go again. And he's had some great ideas, and he's very talented, and he's funny. He is actually funny. So we have a great time. It's only been 40 years that we've been together. So
That's all? 40 years?
Except for Hollywood.
And you talked actually in the previous episode about how you guys met. What was it like when you first saw Tim and everything? Did you know right away that he was the guy?
I worked with Tim in Chicago. I was married to somebody else. He was married to somebody else. I didn't notice him for nothing. It was somebody else I worked with. So I re-met him when I moved out to Los Angeles and was divorced. And he was divorced. And he was doing some show called WKRP in Cincinnati, which I had never seen.
Some little minor show.
I watched it.
I did too.
I had never seen it. It was in like third year, and I had never seen it.
Great show. I kind of said.
But all the people from Chicago used to hang out together. And one of the guys I was hanging out with said, do you remember Tim Reid? And I'm going, no. So he gave him my number. He called, said, would you like to have a drink? I said, okay. So we were going to do a little 5-minute drink because he was on his way somewhere. And it turned into a 5-hour drink and breakfast. And a couple of months later, we moved in together, lived in sin for 2 years. And finally, both of us got over the stigma of the M word. And we got married.
Good.
And we've been married for 38 years. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna take us back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
So do you have a favorite story from working on the show? We want to hear some juicy gossip. Tell us something that a lot of people don't know about.
Oh, please. Everybody knows everything about everything. Social media has spilled it all.
Oh, but what happened on the set?
We had a blast. Some of my favorite times were dancing down the hall with James Avery, getting ready to go to work, sitting in Will's room, listening to music and dancing. We did a lot of dancing, and we were just a very high-powered bunch. We had the privilege of being able to help the writers do the nuances of our characters. They would write a script that we would read on Monday in a table read. And I remember clearly one time, Ashley, the youngest daughter, was supposed to backtalk her father. And I said, no. See, Ashley wouldn't have any teeth if she talked to her father like that. No.
Black community especially, man.
You had to do some cultural assuaging there. And I said, maybe at your house, but not at my house. So we had the privilege of being able to make those distinctions. So it felt like a good place to work.
Wow.
Wow. Do you feel like when it ended, it felt like something was missing? Because it sounds like it met a lot of like what you're looking for in your life. You know what I mean?
I had done so many television shows, and each one of them had an ending. It was not unusual that this is the last episode.
Wait, you just said a line from oh no, that's the song that Carlton dances to.
Okay.
It's so unusual.
It's not unusual.
I know. That just reminded me of that.
It's not unusual.
Not unusual
I know.
to be loved by anyone.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
You should have to dance too.
Yeah.
But Will had told us at the end of the 5th season that the next season was going to be the last. So we all knew that we were coming to an end. He wanted us to be able to make plans to do whatever we wanted to do after the show was over, and it wasn't going to be a surprise. So getting to the end of the season was painful. The last episode was a tearjerker for us. We cried the whole week because it was the camaraderie that we were going to miss. The family. We were all very, very close and very, very loving, supportive family. It was a great, great bunch of folk. I wasn't as focused on just the ending of the show because my husband and I were doing the architecture and planning to open a studio in Virginia the following year. So I was deep into business plans and architectural drawings and all sorts of things. So if the show was over, okay, see ya. I got something to do. But it was hard. The last episode was very hard. And every time that we shot a scene, we would leave the scene in tears. And finally, when the last scene was shot, we all just stood there and cried. And then they brought a cake and a cake fight broke out.
That's nice, man. A nice way to
That's cute.
You know, I have to ask you, you know, being a performer and being an actor requires lots and lots of courage and, you know, to get in front of an audience and actually get in front of a camera. What advice would you have for people that are getting into the performing arts on how to conquer your fears of performing?
If you have fear of performing, I don't suggest that you get in this field because you have to bare your soul. It's an honesty profession, and fear of audiences should not enter into it. Figure out why you fear that audience, conquer that, and then dive into this business. But be prepared. This is hard work. This is needing a preparation. This is being able to open your soul and find something in there that helps the character that you are portraying. So sometimes being afraid is part of the character and you get to use it. But if you're going to do theater, being afraid, you probably will do a lot of heaving before you go on the stage. So that's
I actually ask this personally too because I'm also a performer as well. I know that a lot of times, like, I'm really nervous before I go on stage. So what do you do for nerves before you go on stage? You've done a lot of theater.
No, I don't do a lot of theater. No. Y'all work too hard. You guys are, no. I don't do a lot of theater. Before a performance, I just breathe deeply and let it out slowly. It's kind of a meditative process, but I do a lot of public speaking, and I don't get scared to be on the stage. I prepare, and if I'm prepared, I'm just having a conversation with one person. There happens to be a whole lot of other folks sitting around that person.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I handle it.
Yeah. I am a public speaker, and that's how I feel. Totally. Yeah. But I think I love your advice on figure out what is it that you're scared of, because I think that's what the issue is for a lot of people, is they just almost are in like a habit of getting, like, it's almost like, okay, I'm supposed to get nervous. Okay, I'm nervous. But if you get to the root of why, then a lot of times you can conquer it and overcome that and do something different.
Yeah. You got to get over it if you're going to be in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to get over it in life. I mean, your next step you should take with bravery. I mean, a lot of people are fearful to get up and do something. Scared of what? If you fall down, get up and do it a different way and keep going. The only time you fail is when you don't get up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally believe in that philosophy.
Yeah, what other choice do you have? But some people just stay stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, Daphne, you recently were in the highly acclaimed movie Harriet, and you played Miss Lucy. What was that like? What was the mood on the set? I mean, that had to be just such a powerful historical film.
It was a powerful historical experience because it was directed by a Black woman. It was produced by a Black woman. It was starring a Black woman. And that's rare in Hollywood movies. And I had the honor of playing that character. I was so thrilled. They were kind of shyly saying, well, you only have one line. I said, I don't care. I want to play. And it was just a delight. It was engaging because you're costumed, you're in the environment. We did a lot of shooting at night. We did running through the woods. We did walking through a pond. I mean, it was an all-encompassing part that wasn't dictated by one line. It was a fabulous experience, and I adore Cynthia Erivo. So I get to spend time with her and just commune with her and just celebrate her talent. She's an amazing person. And I had a ball. I was so pleased.
I'm glad that you were actually in such a historical film, because actually we need more films like that for audiences of color. You also are a fashion designer too. You design stuff for the runway, and you've made some incredible designs. Tell us about the whole process of fashion designing. Why did you do it in the first place?
Well, I've been sewing since I was 9 years old. So I've always made my own clothes because I didn't like the fabric that they were made out of in the store. Basically, I couldn't afford to buy the stuff that was in the store. And my mother was a dressmaker. So I learned early. Everybody in my house sewed. So it was just part of what I did. Mm-hmm. And I continued doing that through my modeling career. When I had auditions and things, I would whip something up for the audition. And then I got the privilege of doing some of my own wardrobe in shows like Simon and Simon, and wearing things on the runway, the red carpet gowns that I designed and made. So it was not unusual for me to make my own things. What was unusual was that I was making something for somebody else, because I didn't do that a lot. And I'm a fabricaholic. So I fall in love with a fabric and I try to figure out what to do with this piece of fabric. And I discovered Chinese silk brocades. And they had such vibrant colors and was such a rich fabric to work with that I designed a coat for myself that had a little mandarin collar. And it was just a simple coat. But every time I wore my Chinese silk coats, people would stop me in the street and ask me where I got them from. And I told them I made it. Oh, will you make me one? I said, no. For years, I said, no. And then my husband was doing a fundraiser fashion show for his institute. And he said, would you make a line of those Chinese jackets for the show? I said, oh, okay. I guess I wasn't doing anything else. And I made about a dozen of them. And when they hit the runway, people started buying them off the runway.
Wow.
So I said, oh, so this could be a business.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to be chained to my sewing machine because I was still doing photography and still acting. So I decided to do a custom line of coats. So I have custom customers, and they choose their specific fabric, and I make something for them.
Just a quick follow-up question to that. How can customers get your designs? How can they actually purchase them?
On my website, I have DaphneMaxwellReid.com. There's a section called Daphne Styles, and it has how to order a custom coat. I have some that are already made. The second line of clothes I made were linen swing coats, which have real funky linings in them, which is really cool.
Ooh, okay.
And I have those there too, and there are a few left from the last show that we did.
I was just watching Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and they had the best swing coats in that movie. I was like, those need to, I want one.
They are classic. They never go out of style. And one size can fit a whole lot of different people. I mean,
Yeah,
For more information on Eden, go to edensustin.com. For more information on Kim, go to kimlifecoach.com. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Talk Purpose and Truth Podcast. If you loved this episode, you'll love every episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for listening.